should be here any minute.
Hey, my fellow ladies out there. So, men think they own you. Take it from somebody that used to be a man. You got boobs. You got a vajayjay. Guess what, honey? You own them. Trust me, they want it. Make them own it.
Yeah, talk about a self-own there. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name's Luke Rudowski here of the best politicalshow.com, and we will be going live for the next 2 hours discussing all the latest and craziest news developing right now as Robbie figures out that his camera is not on and that he needs to turn it on and also fix... the focus there. Let's see if Robbie will figure this one out. As of course, there's a lot of crazy things to discuss right now. As it looks like in the making of this video, Donald Trump just picked his next CIA director. As it looks like the corporate media is absolutely collapsing, and it's awesome to see. Trump had some very interesting appointment picks that we will be going over, the good and the bad. Bitcoin has topped $90,000 as FIMA actually went out of their way not to help Trump supporters, as David Icke just personally attacked me. We'll be going over that, as well as the latest drama with people showing up at Nick Fuentes' house. So yeah, we'll be discussing that, plus a lot more, all here for the next 2 hours, as of course we will ask you guys to please share this broadcast with your friends and family members. It's one of the few ways that it actually gets out there to the general public. YouTube doesn't really like us, but you guys do, and if it wasn't for you guys sharing this broadcast, we wouldn't be here. And truly, we had a lot of uphill battles and challenges throughout the years, and you guys make it worthwhile, because without you guys, I wouldn't be here. And we try to give back to you as much as we can, and that's why we ask you guys to sign up to lookunfiltered.com and be a part of the show. You could actually call in. You could ask us a question. We don't filter out questions. We don't tell you what you can and cannot say. First-time callers also get free products from wearechange.shop, a great store that also provides you great services as well, especially if you are on your independent health journey. So yeah, if you haven't signed up yet, we started to do more special videos for just members alone. Last night, we asked our guests specifically what is their most controversial opinion to Naomi and Dr. Simon Gudick. It was a very fascinating conversation. We're going to do the same, as well as 3 other walk and talk videos that we released for members. So 6 exclusive members-only videos just for members of lookunfiltered.com released this week. We're going to be doing our best to read any and all super chats here, as of course we would like you to prioritize mysuperchat.com, the Streamlabs link in the description that of course allows us to only get a 3% service charge rather than a 30% YouTube service charge, as of course we have our guests arriving finally to the show here, as it's been one crazy day here in Miami, especially with all the crazy traffic going on right now. But before introducing you to our guest, we got one more guest coming. Everyone's late today. It was absolutely crazy.
I feel less bad now.
Yeah, don't feel bad. It's totally okay. It's Miami. It's Miami traffic, so it's totally fine there. As of course, we also wanted to remind you guys about SaveLukeNow.com. As of course, we got a surprise $180,000 IRS bill. So we are fundraising by selling limited edition items that are signed to help me finance and fundraise for a lawyer. So really, shouts out to everyone that has supported me on SaveLukeNow.com. All the donations really do mean a lot to us, and truly from the bottom of my heart, thank you, as this is something that, of course, threatens the existence of this independent media organization. So truly, thank you guys so much. As, of course, joining us for this particular broadcast is the one and only Nick Sorter. Nick, for the people who don't know you, who are you, and how would you introduce yourself? And first of all, thank you so much for making it. This traffic's no joke here.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, I'm thinking like a 30-minute Uber ride. And, I mean, I could have gotten around New York City quicker than I got around here in Miami. But, you know, it's interesting where... I don't know how many. How's your population of illegals here? I'm just curious.
A
because
lot.
I
Actually,
haven't.
Florida took a lot more illegals than I think any other state in the union. But you can't tell because everyone's freaking speak Spanish like Speedy Gonzalez here, and they're all related to Martha Bueno.
Yeah,
You're not wrong.
I wasn't sure if maybe there was some sort of correlation between not being able to speak to my Uber drivers and the amount of illegals in an area, because that's been a hell of a problem here. It's
The illegals just do the jobs that Americans won't do.
If that's how you want to justify it,
this
I
traffic
guess.
is no joke. I mean, you think regular Americans who could work a corporate job really want to, deal with this?
That's right. It's like the street right over here, the main road right over here. Some chick is turning and going the wrong way down the road. And he's like, it's just Miami. Like,
Yeah, okay.
all right.
Yeah. Miami drivers, pretty crazy people. Crazy people like Martha. Before Martha introduces herself, Nick, where can people find out more information about you, and who are you for the people who don't know you, if they don't know who you are?
Yeah, so I'm just a dude. I kind of whine on X and harass politicians for a living in a non-physical way. Just yell at them and make their egos hurt a little bit. That's sort of my job. I travel around the country doing that on the ground in East Palestine, Ohio, Maui, Hawaii, as well as Western North Carolina. Handing out Starlinks out there. So that's pretty much what I do. It's a little bit of journalism, but a little bit of activism in holding these people's feet to the fire.
Yeah, a lot of journalism now is just activism.
And which is why I kind of preface it that way. I'm not like one of those pretenders that's sitting there on CNN calling themselves journalists when they're actually just paid operatives.
The more you kind of lean into it, the more you're honest about it, the more kind of respectful it is. Because a lot of the people, especially the prostitutes, are like, we're unbiased. Orange Man is coming back from the 1930s with the funny mess. And I'm like, what you're doing is just absolutely nonsensical, and you're cheerleading for, of course, the people that are telling you what to say, and you're just reading off their scripts. So it's not even activism; it's just puppeteering for the corporate media establishment. So it's good to have disruptors like you in our media sphere. So this is going to be a great conversation. Thank you so much for joining us. We're also going to have Linda, Wake Up with Linda from the Mostly Peaceful Latinas, joining us here in a little bit. She also is late because it's Miami, and people are usually always late in Miami, right, Martha?
And because she's Latina, and we are notorious for being late to everything. So yes,
very much true.
That's
Facts.
the reality.
For the people who don't know you, who are you, Martha?
I am also kind of sort of an activist, kind of sort of rant on social media. I love to do that, especially, and sometimes I come here and I push Robbie's buttons. Hi, Robbie.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
Your camera's just terrible today.
I'll fix it. Keep talking. Just
I'm
talking
learning
directly into
the
mic.
curve from the best, Martha Bueno. I was a fan of her her.
Whoa!
Hey, there's something I don't know here.
She had.
I actually had an OnlyFans.
She had the only
but
thing
not the kind you're thinking.
for political candidates. She was the only one in history to do that, and
Really? So it does have another
really.
use here.
It does. It did.
It did. It no longer does. What was it founded at? Was it not founded for feet and
a-
boob pics?
I think it was like a Patreon originally, which is what we intended to use it for during my campaign.
But did they use it against you?
Oh, well, yes and no, because when they tried to use it against me, they realized that it was actually like for making fun of it and yada yada.
Yeah.
So no, it was great. I was on Steven Crowder's show, and he thought that it was an actual OnlyFans, so it was great. It was like a very fun little skit.
I'm trying to convince her to go back on and have some of you guys subscribe to her thing. I don't know if that's going to happen.
Hey, I keep trying to tell Luke that we could do one with a camera underneath the table, and we'll do only feet.
This is not that type of degenerate show here.
You can get that 180K real quick, Luke, if you do that.
I don't know about that. I don't know
Listen,
if
I have really cute
I'd rather
feet,
go
okay?
I'd rather go to IRS jail than resort to selling nasty
Excuse you.
chrome, bunion filled,
Now we're gonna have to show them to like.
unpedicured wild hooves. So
Martha is.
I'm talking about everyone's feet here.
Oh, I'm saying, listen, I was going to say my feet, not everybody else's. I don't know.
Is it true you are Fidel Castro's daughter?
No, never, please.
Well, I'm just saying Justin Trudeau said the same thing, and I am not convinced.
Well, no,
So,
but Justin Trudeau actually looks like Fidel Castro.
Justin
Do
Castro.
I look like Fidel Castro? I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm lacking the beard, but maybe.
Yeah, Robbie always gets into the core issues that he really likes to talk about during the introductions, right, Robbie?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a great show. This guy's you got a lot of passion. You seem like a genuine guy. I'm looking forward to everything you have to say.
I
man.
appreciate that.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's hard not to be, especially there are two ways to go on X. You can be somebody that is just basically fed talking points by whatever you think that your audience is going to like, but there's a lot of times where you have to set yourself apart a little bit by going against that grain and being honest about that. You can tell pretty easily who on X is just spewing the talking points and who is actually researching and giving true opinions. And I'm not going to name any names, but you guys probably have some ideas of who I'd be talking about.
Well, there's a lot of regurgitators. There's a lot of people who are like, "What's the talking point today?" And then I'll say it too, but in a different way. And I'm like, "That's not okay. That's not really a good, diverse kind of conversation. Sure. It's everyone saying the same thing over and over again." And I like the disruptors. I like the people who dare to question stuff and, of course, go from things from a different angle. Linda, I think, does that especially well. Wake up, Linda, who's going to be here any moment now as well. Robbie, you were saying something?
Yeah, no, I was going to ask you because all these people are posting. That girl Tiffany Fong was posting. She makes like $12,000 every week or something. Is it too much to ask? Like,
I wouldn't answer that question. But it's I would do. Let's just say I would do a lot better if I focused on posting. More like so one of the issues with the monetization system is the people that are rewarded the most are the people that they're just posting junk all day long. They're not looking at any sort of post quality or whatever. It's just quantity, and I think
so. No quality does not matter.
Quality matters to an extent, but it's right now it seems like the people that are really doing well in the system are the ones that are just firing off everything. Every few minutes.
Just woke up, got a coffee.
Right. And then also you have some people that and I lose respect for people very quickly when they're knowingly posting false information just so that they can get clicks. I know that's a pet peeve that a lot of people have had, but I mean, I could name you off 10 people right now.
I've been seeing that right now. Is Marco Rubio not the candidate or not? I mean, I keep seeing everyone posting that.
Well, officially, Trump hasn't announced.
Right.
So as soon as Trump announces, there's only a few people he did announce. I think it's like 3 or 4 people that he actually did announce. But there's a lot of leaks coming from the corporate media, which is a little bit worrying because when CNN is breaking a lot of these stories, one, I don't know if you could kind of trust them, but two, if you can, that means that there's loose lips within the future Trump administration that will be, of course, telling the media what he's doing before he actually does it as well.
But I'm not going to say too much about this, but this Trump transition team and the incoming Trump administration is not 2016. It's absolutely not 2016. And so some of these leaks are strategic leaks, I would guess.
Well, I mean, I think they're.
I think there's also some that are just testing the waters. I think they're seeing like, hey, how is the general public going to respond to this?
Exactly.
Will I be able to get away with this? And I think this administration is a little bit different because they definitely do seem to be listening to people online more than they did in all the other years when they were running or they were actually in office.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I think that's the biggest thing is that people like Elon Musk, they're listening to the people now, and they're saying we're the media. They want to hear what people have to say, and I think they're seeing that people are not really supporting Rubio online.
I got a little bit of I don't know if it's truthful, but from somebody very well connected to the campaign that said that this was leaked by somebody other than their campaign because they're trying to push the Rubio into position. So I don't know if that's true or not. Just throwing it out there that there's more possibilities than just Trump's campaign saying that it's him. There's a possibility that other people who would like for it to be him.
Well, there's also the possibility of look at a Rubio appointment from a different angle as well. I'm not saying this is what's happening, but I'm saying that it is a possibility. If you remove somebody like Marco Rubio from the Senate, put him as Secretary of State, even if you don't like Rubio as Secretary of State, now we have the appointment. We can appoint somebody to the U.S. Senate. You can look at it from that angle as well. And I think that Ron DeSantis, hopefully working pretty closely with Trump, Rubio's term doesn't expire in the U.S. Senate until 2029. So if somebody is appointed by Ron DeSantis to fill that seat, we could have somebody like
I think they only get 2 years. No,
Laura Trump or Donald Trump Jr. But even if it was only for a couple of years before a special election, let's say I think DeSantis has and don't quote me on this, I think he has the option to call for a special election.
Yeah.
But the you put a Laura Trump or a Donald Trump Jr. in there, or somebody else from Florida. I mean, that would be a huge addition to the U.S. Senate, a much bigger addition than Marco Rubio ever was.
Joining us with her herbe mate, is that how you say it? We have Wake Up with Linda joining us for this conversation as well. If you can, just boost up the microphone a little bit. And for the people who don't know you, who are you, Linda? And where can people find out more information about you?
Well, you can follow me on X.
Just bring up the microphone a little bit higher.
Higher? Like this?
Yep, perfect.
Okay. You can follow me on X and Instagram, which is where I'm mostly active, probably Instagram a little bit more. And I am a social media influencer. I know it's kind of like cringe to say, but I'd say I'm also an activist here in South Florida and Miami. And I'm just, online shit posting from time to time and saying some controversial things that got me in trouble last week.
What was the controversy?
We want to hear all about that.
I said there's like this tweet that I have that has like 15 million views, and I upset Black Twitter, and that they like doxed my address 3 times.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
They get pretty mad.
They posted my full address online. They got so mad. But
They Fuentes you.
They Fuentes me. Yeah. And I was like,
Did you pepper spray them did anybody come by that you needed to pepper spray?
No, I live in a building, so it's kind of
a little bit more difficult.
It's really difficult even to go up the elevator. So I feel safe and I'm armed. But yeah, I'm an immigrant and I'm a Trump supporter. So now we're like the most hated, right? Hispanics are like the most hated demographic because we shifted so hard right. Versus, I'd say, Black Americans. And there's been a lot of hate towards Latino Americans who voted Trump. And I feel like a lot of racism as well. Like, I know we don't want to be cringe and go into like, oh, everyone's racist. But when you look at a person of color or brown or somebody that you think it's Hispanic and you say, well, now you're going to get deported. Like, there's liberals don't make a difference between legal and illegal immigrants. They think we're all just illegal immigrants for the most part, and they started attacking the Hispanic community pretty hard, especially Black Americans. So I said, did not think it was gonna go viral. I said, I'm glad the Latino community is seeing how much Black Americans hate us, and that got 15 million views, and it got me doxxed. So.
But how do you really feel?
Right.
It's what we really want to know here.
Yeah.
At least you're not in L.A.
I know, right? I know.
Yeah, you really took that shit posting thing to heart with that one. That was
no, I didn't think it was gonna go viral. Honestly, I thought it was just me, like any other day.
You never know. The strangest things always go viral.
Yeah.
It's like,
did you know that there was a Black Twitter though? Because I discovered this the other day. I posted about the Black national anthem going at one of the NFL games, going before the actual national anthem, and so I hit sports Twitter, Black Twitter, and political Twitter, and I believe tens of millions of views on that. But I had never experienced Black Twitter before.
Oh yeah, and they came out for Kamala too at one point, way back before she was the candidate. Yeah. I said something about Kamala, and I upset Black Twitter, and I didn't realize that Indian community came out for the Black.
The people,
the Black community came out for the Indian candidate.
Apparently, Black Twitter didn't bother going out to vote for Kamala. Half of them ended up voting for Trump.
I think they ended up realizing
ended up voting for Trump.
that she's not really Black. Somewhere along
the people
lines.
I talk to on the streets in New York, and you can go to my Twitter, the Robbie Man. Most of the Black, especially males, were pro Trump. So I mean, I noticed
the male vote.
Yeah, female, no.
What about that Charlemagne the God guy? Do you remember? Do you remember him? What's up
He
with
said
him?
he was bigger than Joe Rogan.
He's the worst.
He said he's bigger than Joe Rogan. Okay, well
Well,
apparently
he didn't say he was big. He said he was the same size as Joe Rogan. And
Okay,
everyone was
my
like, wait, hold on, not really there. Like, let's look at those numbers, and they didn't really add up. But there's still a lot to discuss, as it looks like Trump is making a lot of appointments right now. As it looks like in the making of this video, President Trump named John Ratcliffe as the director of the CIA, as a lot of people were expecting Kash Patel to be in charge of this position. There's still a lot of people saying that he might be the FBI director. I think there's people within the campaign and people outside the campaign just trying to will things, testing things out, and that's why we're seeing a lot of fake news. But this looks like it's an official statement from Donald Trump that said, quote, from exposing fake Russian collusion to be a Clinton campaign operation to catching the FBI's abuse of civil liberties at the FISA court, John Ratcliffe has always been a warrior for truth and honesty with the American public. He will be a fearless fighter for the constitutional rights of all Americans while ensuring the highest levels of national security and peace through strength. This is the announcement, what looks like Donald Trump just posted on Truth Social, as of course a lot of people are wary of him. Nick, you also posted this. I saw this before anyone else, specifically talking about his kind of larger involvement in calling out the Russian collusion hoax. Yep. And all of the Hunter Biden laptop stories. Are you guys excited about this, since there's some other people kind of bringing up a little bit of a kind of establishment record with him that is a little questionable in my opinion?
Well, I mean, you got to keep in mind a lot of these, a lot of the people, even before Trump was even around, I mean, they came from different walks of life, I guess we'll say, different. I don't know what was his story from before the Trump days, because he was like.
So he was pretty close. He was pretty close to the Bushes, and he was pretty close to John Ashcroft, who, in my opinion, wasn't a good district attorney for this country, and he had a horrible record with the Bushes. But he was partner with Attorney General John Ashcroft, and then he was a part of the transition team for Mitt Romney.
I mean, John Ratcliffe spent 4 years loyal as hell to Trump in the Trump administration. You know, within the first cabinet. Within the original cabinet, probably the most loyal cabinet member. I mean, he's at least up there. I can't imagine that would have changed now. I doubt the Bushes have now infiltrated him all of a sudden, and now he's going to turn against President Trump. I can't see that happening. He's one that I would at least trust to stay loyal to President Trump and not try to undermine him. I was terrified that he was going to end up bringing back Mike Pompeo.
Yeah,
you know, Mike Pompeo. What's different between him as like not Secret Service? He was Secretary of State as well as CIA director. It's like he would continue to buck Trump. He was trying to usurp more power than he actually had away from the president. And that's, you know, in the background, I'm sitting here like, oh my God, if Mike Pompeo gets back in there, I don't know. But luckily, it seems that Trump came out and pushed that entire idea aside.
Yeah, did you like George? Did you like George Bush?
I like George Bush. I wouldn't. No. Let's be honest. But I'm 26, so I didn't have much George Bush. I didn't live through the administration of George Bush to the point of where I knew everything that was going on at the time. So I didn't realize that he had any connection to Bush, but
or John Ashcroft specifically, that under the Bush kind of presidency essentially destroyed a large portion of the U.S. Constitution. So that's my major kind of pet peeve here. But it definitely looks like he potentially could have changed here, because there's a lot of old guards. I mean, there's Tulsi Gabbard, who of course was talking about taking away people's Second Amendment rights just even a few years ago. So one of the arguments do change.
That's one of the arguments that's being made right now against Tulsi Gabbard. Because she's been floated for. Well, this actually takes it off the table, because one of the things that she has apparently been pushing
Secretary of
for.
Defense.
Right, she wants Secretary of Defense. That's her first choice. The second was CIA director, which is now off the table. So can we see Tulsi Gabbard as Secretary of Defense? DC Drano made a post earlier today talking about the fact that she's only been a Republican for a month. And she endorsed Trump only a few months ago. So can she be trusted? And that's a question that I feel that we probably need to consider.
Yeah, I'll take her over the neocons any day.
Personally, 100%.
Me too.
I would too. And I mean, can she be trusted? I mean, she was in a trusted position for the Democrats, and she thought she was doing the right thing. So I think she can be. I mean, she is a member still serving the reserves, but nonetheless, I think she can be trusted.
Well, the work she did with Syria, I mean, her Syria expose of what was really happening there, I think prevented a larger kind of war spreading in that region. So I think she was one of the major pieces in stopping the larger kind of destruction of the Middle East, along with General Flynn, that also whistleblowed on very similar matters. So it's kind of both of them. I want to see General Flynn in there. I want to see Tulsi Gabbard in there. I want to see all the people that have been kind of true to us, have been honest, and have been fighting against a lot of these kind of old guard Republicans in there. As of course Michael Tracy points out, that Trump that Trump's pick for the CIA director, John Ratcliffe, actually joined Mike Pompeo in lobbying for the renewal of the FISA warrantless surveillance over the past year. Ratcliffe participated in classified briefings that helped convince Speaker Mike Johnson to reverse his prior position and back FISA. So if this tweet is true by Michael Tracy, highlights how, maybe he's not the best CIA pick personally, especially with that kind of record, because warrantless surveillance is something that pisses me off because, the larger kind of deep state apparatus doesn't care about stopping bad guys. It was never about stopping actual threats, because if that was the case, they actually would have stopped them and not aided and abetted them in multiple instances. But it's about gating compromise and blackmail on everyone by spying on everyone's devices and expanding that, allowing the government to look into your private cell phone and your private wiener pics. That's too much for me and something that I don't accept. And it looks like John Ratcliffe is on the side of warrantless FISA spying on the American people.
Yep, and that's thanks. Well, I guess not all thanks. I can't give him that much praise, but George Bush, ushering in, the war, and then of course the, I'm dropping it today, the Patriot Act. And so they're just spying on us. We know that they're spying on us. They're constantly spying on us. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon.
Yeah, John Ashcroft played a major role in the U.S. Patriot Act, which again, obliterated the Constitution. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's just like, it doesn't matter which one of these guys gets in there. At the end of the day, I don't think that they're going to stop doing this. I mean, they're just going to wake up one day and be like, you know what? We've seen enough. We've seen all your dirty pics on your phone. We've had enough. We're just going to stop now. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So, whatever. They're going to keep spying on us until we do something about it.
I was a little biased because the news broke earlier today that the position probably would have been appointed to Kash Patel. I'm biased because I know Kash, and I think Kash is extremely capable. He's really smart. He's really genuine. The conversations I'd had with him were next level stuff. He wasn't pandering. He wasn't lying to me. We went down the rabbit hole with Kash Patel when he was on Timcast, when we had other private conversations with him. I think Kash Patel is the real deal. So to see him not appointed as the head of the CIA is personally...
Now? Isn't he like the Truth Social, like something in Truth Social, like an engineer, like a...
I think Kash Patel played a major role in the Trump campaign, and I think he's part of the transition team.
Yeah, but what was his like?
He was working as the director of intelligence for Donald Trump in his first administration. So I think he was in charge of all the intelligence agencies for Donald Trump, a part of his national security team. So I think if there's anyone that I would trust in that position, it would be Kash Patel, because he has the experience. He's not brand new. He knows how they work. He knows how they operate. He was there when they were doing all the shenanigans against him with all the Russian collusion nonsense. You have to understand the intel agency screwed over Donald Trump. So you need someone to really kind of rein it in here. And with this guy having some kind of resonance to the old guard, I'm a little skeptical of that. I would prefer Kash Patel, who has spoken out against this Russian collusion in an extreme way and has actually stood behind the president of the United States in a very loyal way, backing him and serving him when he was at the White House. So
you gotta, I mean, look, we wanted Trump to have learned from his first term. He had a lot of neocons around. And we have the Avengers coming in. We want to make sure there's no neocons in there. I mean, I get a very genuine vibe from Tulsi Gabbard, from Vivek. I love Elon. I love Ron Paul. I'm just hoping that we can keep these people out and we can change. He almost got assassinated twice. I mean, we got to have some real changes here.
And the reason it matters is because it's not just about policy. It's about the people who surround themselves with, especially the old guard. They got their knives. They're just waiting for Trump to turn their back on him. And I think that's a perspective that people really need to have here, especially when it comes to a lot of these kind of intel agencies and the way that they kind of operate. So I want Trump to surround himself with people that are his insurance policy, not with people who might have some kind of connections to the old guard that could be potentially working against him in this future administration. And that's why I really liked Kash Patel. MSNBC was freaking out. They were saying that this was setting off alarm bells in the intelligence community if Kash Patel was going to be the head of the CIA. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, yes, please, more.
That's how you know what to
I was going to say the same thing. That's how you know that this is exactly the move, is when the the people who literally are the speaking pieces of the CIA and whatever are like
Are
upset.
saying no.
They're like,
No. They're like no. I'm like yes.
Yes.
And then I made the point here.
I was a little bit bothered to say the least when I saw that John Fetterman came out and said I will vote to confirm Marco Rubio for Secretary of State.
Of
I'm
course
like,
you will.
oh
Yep.
God, all right.
Yep.
I thought the
think
whole thing
that's
with
a lead
Elon and
to-
Bobby spending time with him at Mar-a-Lago, I'm thinking, well, I'm reading he's spending a lot of time with him. Maybe he's going to take their advice, and I just hope that he does. It doesn't seem like he's
Well,
doing it so far.
Rubio brought him a lot of donors. Rubio brought him a lot of big players that he brought to Mar-a-Lago that were some of the big backers behind Donald Trump and his campaign. And of course, you got to repay the favor somehow. And a lot of these favors are repaid with positions.
But I don't think that's has been official at all.
No, it's not
Rubio
official.
stuff.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's kind of like when they said the Cash Patel, and that
Yeah.
turned out to be false
Yep.
too.
Yeah, we were just
So
talking
it
about
is
this earlier.
false, right.
They're doing it to test the waters.
Right.
They're doing it to see the response and the reaction,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm saying we got to be vocal now more than ever.
Right.
So that's why I decided to make it my video. That's why I'm tweeting about it. That's why I'm
Yeah.
like, hey guys, I want Tulsi Gabbard in there. That's what
I
tweeted
saw
today.
Alina Hava for press secretary.
Yeah.
Right.
And
So they leaked.
that's also not official.
No,
Yeah.
I know.
Right.
I know.
Until Donald Trump actually announces
Right.
it, it's not official, and it's people manipulating it
Yeah.
in order to put people in a favorable kind of position to get in
I would
there.
have thought it would be the blonde girl that's been the spokeswoman for the
Kayleigh
Trump
Mac-
campaign. No, not
McEnany?
Kayleigh.
Caroline
Leavitt.
Leavitt.
Yeah.
Yeah, Leavitt would have been fantastic. I still
Yeah.
could possibly be.
Yeah, it could possibly be her still.
I like what Donald Trump Jr. said, making a revolving position with alternative independent media.
He said that?
Alex Jones, let's go.
well, as a White House spokesman, that's the idea that he told us when we were talking to him. We were interviewing him, and he said, I really like this kind of notion. I really like this idea of just like a rotating chair of a White House spokesperson that will be there for like a week or maybe a month. And Alex Jones said he's entertaining it for potentially doing it for a month. So
That would be incredible.
Well, Susie said that
yeah.
she would, that they want to keep the circus out. So I don't know how much they would allow Alex
Well, I
Jones in
want
there.
the circus. We need
You know?
we need Alex. We need Vivek.
Yeah.
We need very
Yeah, so
articulate
where do you
people.
put I want to ask you this question because people are asking me constantly all the time. Well, what's going on with Vivek? Vivek's going to get a spot too, right?
I don't think so.
And then
Well,
what
there's
do
a
you
lot of
think?
drama. There's
I
a lot
don't
of
think
drama
so.
and personalities between Vivek
Yeah.
and the Trump camp. So I think there's, I think Vivek is still waiting, but there's a big open position for him in Ohio. But obviously,
But you think Mike DeWine is going to put Vivek in J.D. Vance's Senate seat?
I mean, if J.D. Vance has anything to
Possible.
say about it, I think
but
J.D.
why would
Vance
Mike
would be
DeWine
rooting.
do that? Mike DeWine is essentially a Democrat. Mike DeWine will end up putting Mike DeWine in the Senate seat. That's what's going to end up happening
true.
there. Vivek's not going to get it. Unless there is some other deal that is worked out in the background with Mike DeWine, Vivek will not be the U.S. Senator from Ohio appointed by DeWine anyway.
Exactly.
That's too bad because J.D. Vance named his son after Vivek.
But no, it's going to be interesting to see here, as of course a lot of people are like, "Where's Vivek? Where's Rand Paul?" And there's also a lot of inner politics that has kind of isolated some of these kind of political figures, and there's a lot of other things happening behind the scenes that we don't even know about. That is, kind of pushing these guys away. But we still are armchair quarterbacking it. We don't know exactly what's happening behind the scenes. I think it's important for us to be vigilant. I think it's important for us to be, skeptical, but also respectful at the same time, while pushing out some of the good people that I think deserve to actually be in there. As I think all the old people, the Michael Flynn's, the Steve Bannons, I think all of them deserve some redemption as well. I think they deserve a seat at the table as well.
Right. Right. Yep, and I'd absolutely agree. I don't know if you guys saw this right before the show came on, but there's like a pseudo endorsement almost from Elon Musk of Laura Trump to fill the Senate seat in
Yeah.
Florida.
I saw that.
So I mean, there seems to be that seems like it's a very real possibility. At least there's a pressure campaign for it. That's what we might end up seeing. But you guys are from Florida.
Well, it's a pressure campaign against Ron DeSantis, who doesn't have the best
absolutely.
relationship with
With
Donald
Trump.
Trump.
Right.
And appointing a Trump to be the senator now can only be done with, of course, a lot of public pressure, I think.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean the people that are really deep in the deep in the realm of Ron DeSantis don't like Laura Trump for that pick. I'm seeing that fighting constantly. People are fighting on my post about it. The people that are the Ron DeSantis
bros are
loyalists.
insufferable. They're insufferable people.
They are not my
insufferable
favorite
fucking
people in the world. Like, they're like
Holy
the
shit.
people you keep at arm's length, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to get too
Can't
close.
we all just get along?
No.
Like, can't
Wow,
we just
fighting
be-
amongst Republicans. Wow, and I thought libertarians were batshit.
I wish people would just put their issues to the side. I wish Ron DeSantis would get along with the Rand Pauls, the Viveks, the Trumps. I wish we could all have a happy peace circle now and just focus on helping America rather than a lot of the ego and fighting personally. That's just me.
Rodney King said it best. Can't we all just get along?
Does he still wear the boot lift?
Who does?
Does Ron DeSantis still?
You know what? I'm going to speak out for
Those
Ron
boot heels
DeSantis because
destroyed
he
him.
was instrumental in ending Amendment 3 and Amendment 4 in Florida. So you know what? Let's keep the Ron. He's not my favorite person, but you know sometimes he's useful.
No,
so.
I totally agree with that. And you know, I don't have a personal problem with him. You know, obviously my choice for the nominee was going to be President Trump, and I'm glad that ended up happening.
Laura Trump, you mean?
No,
for the president itself.
for the GOP nomination. And you know, but it's a time. Most Ron DeSantis people now get along pretty well in the MAGA community. They're fine. They've been welcomed in with open arms, but there are some that are still pretty nasty.
Yeah.
Still, you know, and I don't know. And
I think it would be a nice gesture by Ron DeSantis to say, "Yeah, Laura Trump, you are the next senator," and help her guide in that position because I think she deserves it.
But do we know if she wants it? She just started in the RNC. Like they haven't really.
She did a good job at the RNC too.
Yeah, but there's still more work to do.
okay, if you have Elon
know?
Musk coming out and openly endorsing Laura Trump
Yeah.
wants it.
I mean-
Yeah.
Let's be real here.
Yeah.
Laura did a really good job. If you saw her on The Breakfast Club and other shows, she was very articulate in campaigning for.
Also, let's be honest. If like you're offered the Senate seat, you take the Senate seat. I mean,
Yeah.
the RNC is great and all, but
I mean, she could
a senator.
She could go right back to
Right,
the
exactly.
RNC if she wanted to. But you know, the thing is, in the Senate, why it's so valuable to have somebody like that in the Senate is because yes, you do have Rand Paul. Fantastic, but I don't even know if I fully trust Ted Cruz at this point.
I don't.
You
No,
can't trust
why would
any
you?
of them.
And so that's what I'm saying. You have
They
somebody
have to
like
be
Laura
under
Trump in
close
there.
watch.
Yeah, you
all
have
the
Laura
time.
Trump in there. You don't have to keep her under. She's going to do.
She's going to do the right thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She's going to fulfill the MAGA agenda. I don't know about. I think at some point we'll talk about Project 2025 today. I think that's going to be a renewed conversation now.
People bought into it. They're still bringing it up. That's why they're telling. That's one of the main talking points of especially Black Americans against Trump supporting Hispanics, which is you guys are going to get denaturalized because we'll come back and say, no, we're all like, we're legal, we're citizens, it's not about that. And they're like, no, you guys don't understand. Yep. Project 2025 is going to denaturalize you guys. So that's part of that agenda. People bought into it, whether we want to make fun of it or not. I'm telling you guys, people bought into the Project 2025.
Well, he denounced it. He denounced it multiple times.
Yeah,
and,
but
and I think people
don't care. It's too late. It's kind of like the Russian collusion, right? Like,
is it
people
too
still
late
bring
though?
that
We
up.
won, and we won by a lot.
Yeah, we won.
So.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
But people
So if
bought
it
into
doesn't actually happen, then there's nothing to buy into. Like that's it.
Right.
That's the end of the conversation. And denaturalize, like what? What is that?
It's such a long document that I
book.
honestly I don't even really know what's all in
It's
Project
both.
2025.
You know what's funny
so
is that every 4 years they put something out. They put out an
that's
agenda.
what the
like-
Heritage Foundation
Right,
does. They're
this
a
is what
think
they do.
tank. They
So-
are a think tank.
What are we doing here arguing over something? Like the Heritage Foundation is probably like, thank you, Lord, for this. Because that's actually
Nobody
put
has
him on
ever talked about this ever before.
Nobody's ever cared about what they put out.
Yeah.
And then this time it's like, oh my God. I bet you their funding is like up. They're like, yeah.
Yeah, there was some really good tweets right after it happened, being like talking
We
about
lied.
how
We
well,
lied.
okay, all right, now as of tomorrow per Project 2025, all women are being ordered to surrender to FEMA camps by 9:30.
We will be mailing you your Handmaid's Tale
Yes,
gown.
exactly.
Like, make sure to put it on with the bonnet in the right way.
They did a great job brainwashing the
Your
masses.
camera is off again.
They did a great job brainwashing the masses, I think, and the people that just watched the mainstream media. They saw and they really they ate it up,
Yeah,
and they
they
were
believed it.
continuing
Did
to
they
believe
though?
it.
I mean,
people. I mean,
A lot of people did.
But who though? I mean,
Yeah.
just because you hear to them,
Wait,
I never
the
had a
Project
single.
2025.
I
the
mean,
politicians brought it up, but I haven't heard it. Like I
Look,
saw.
it was
I haven't heard it
actually-
in the streets
it
when I was interviewing people.
It was mostly spread through urban pages. So, for example, the Shade Room, all of these different like hip hop, specifically targeting African Americans pages were the ones mostly pushing Project 2025. And my conspiracy theory is that it's because Black America was waking up and they were totally shifting right, and then they had to put a stop to that, which was we're going to put a lot of fear, right?
And fear works. Fear works, especially with between the Latino
100%.
and the Black community, which have been historically at war with each other for, and I've seen that war firsthand, because they apparently think that Latinos did not stand up for Black Americans during the civil rights, and it's like, I don't know how to solve something that happened well before any of us were even born.
Yeah.
So they're going to use that fear mongering to continue to separate us. It's what works.
But their influence is going down, as of course we want to talk about the fall
this is beautiful.
of the corporate media. But before that, Robbie, let's read off some of the super chats here. I think we got some here really quick.
So see hundreds of fire those ratings. Wow.
Sounds good. Little Drinky Poo. Kiss to Martha. Is Tim Cass getting bought by the Daily Wire? Because last night Phil had the neocon Kool-Aid all over his chin.
I haven't watched that show, but that'd be disappointing if Phil had the neocon Kool-Aid.
I don't think Phil can be neocon Kool-Aid into. I mean, he's one of the most libertarian. I don't know. Maybe I'm saying something I shouldn't, but I think he can't be. I don't know. I need to watch
didn't see the clip, so I have no idea.
Next up, we got Switzerland Play IT. Sophia does not bang with me, and she does not even need to cut her hair for that.
We're sorry, Switzerland Play IT. Keep going.
Holly movie star Cuff D19 was a paradigm change for Tulsi and Elon.
Yes, Cuff 19 was definitely a paradigm shift for a lot of people. And I think there were a lot of things at play here that turned a lot of very kind of leftist liberals towards the Trump camp, which was really fascinating to see, as of course the corporate media still fought against that, as a lot of people politically shifted, and the corporate media showed their true colors during CUF 19, but also most importantly during this election cycle. And now I think they're paying restitution for it, as a lot of these networks aren't doing too good, as it looks like CNN now will be cutting off their own top stars in future layoffs, as their ratings continue to tank. So of course does MSNBC's, as we're also finding out that there's rumors today that Comcast could be putting MSNBC up for sale. I don't know who would want to buy that particular broadcast, as even Chris Wallace has announced he's quitting CNN because he might become a live streamer soon and start doing some podcasts. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know if anyone's going to be turning into that boomer. I think he understands that the corporate media is in trouble, but I don't believe that people are going to be tuning in for his specific coverage of
We
things.
are the media now.
Well, what was funny is the other day, probably a few months ago at this point, Chris Wallace, Tucker Carlson was going after Chris Wallace, making fun of him, and then and Chris Wallace responds and said, "Wow, at least I'm employed." Okay, well, sorry, Chris Wallace, you are no longer employed, and nobody is going to go. I mean, this is the end of his career; it's over. I mean, he's saying he's going to do a podcast or whatever. Who the hell is going to watch that? I'd rather watch your dog on a podcast than sit there and watch Chris Wallace. I mean, he doesn't have any sort of audience anymore. And the audience that he does have, they're over 80 and don't know how the internet works anyway. So, I mean,
they won't be able to find him.
They won't be able to find him.
He's leaving. He's jumping CNN's ship. I think a lot of other people are too. There's reports of Wolf Blitzer and Jake Tapper both being denied raises, which is absolutely brilliant, because why do you want a raise for? You're horrible. You suck.
Pay doesn't go up when the ratings go down, okay? They go together.
I don't think they understand that logical kind of fact here, but it's beautiful to see, because it's like the chicken's coming home to roost.
What was beautiful to see was the other day at the we were at the Trump party there in West Palm Beach, and sitting there watching Caitlin Collins and her expression just getting more and more gloomy throughout the night.
Yeah.
And they brought in security for her later during there, because she was like, they're all worried that but Trump people don't do that. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
They demonize us and act
Right.
like, we're just these mean people. But, there were people that were trying to have genuine conversation with Caitlin Collins, and she just wasn't having it.
She gets paid $3 million a year.
You're joking.
Shit.
Nope. $3 million, according to the Daily Mail.
Wow.
Anderson Cooper, $20 million.
Wow.
It pays a lot to be a shill.
Yeah, I was going to say $20 million, really, for Anderson Cooper? Like, I don't know.
But he looks so trustworthy as sort of a lesbian. Rachel Maddow
why do
looking like
they all
person.
turn into Rachel Maddow?
It's the bitter liberalism that just it takes it all
It's
out
like
of
Mark
them.
Cuban, I used to respect so much on the Shark Tank, and he turned into Rachel Maddow. I mean, I've never respected Rachel Maddow, but she turned into Rachel Maddow.
As soon as you get those damn glasses, I don't know what it is. I don't know if that's part of a humiliation
Is
ritual.
it giving
where
up on life?
Right.
All
it's
of them
like
have
you've
these
just
freaking glasses.
They all have
All
those
of them have
glasses.
those
I
freaking
don't
glasses.
understand it.
Yeah.
It
All of
doesn't
I
look
just
good.
realized
I-
that
have
they
you-
all have the glasses.
Have you ever seen a single person that these glasses look good on? Ever? Once. Look, Chris Wallace has
it
them.
as well.
You know?
I mean,
it's like it's
probably
branding.
they probably have like a taser associated with it. So if they ever, or like a kill switch where they actually could like shoot off your pineal gland, because if they ever deviate from the script and don't ask Joe Biden the questions that they're supposed to ask him, they just get zapped and tortured and penalized for not doing what they're told to do.
But you saw everybody that I know they were getting paid at this point. I think that's what we figured out, that they that these big like Eminem and Beyonce
Yeah.
all paid
Oprah.
millions of dollars. Oprah,
Yeah.
who said, I don't know if you saw that clip from was it today? That
I
came
did.
up?
Yeah, the guy confronted her on the street, and she's like, "No, I didn't get paid."
Yeah, well, yeah,
But there's
but she said the reason she said it like that, she said, "Oh no, I didn't get paid." No, because Harpo Productions,
Yeah.
her production
Her
company that she
production
owns
company got
100% of, is the one that got paid $1
Yeah.
million.
Like she needs the money.
listen, that private jet does not fuel itself, okay? You need that cash, especially to, if whatever she's
And
doing
this
out in
isn't-
Hawaii.
We're not speculating here either. These are FEC filings that the campaign made. I believe it was on October 15th. They made two disbursements to Harpo Productions for $500,000 each. So,
But that wasn't for Oprah. That was for,
yeah.
whatever. Yeah, it's this is the doublespeak about politicians that I think Oprah's picking up on fantastically. It's like, I didn't get paid, but my company got paid, which is the same thing, but technically you're correct. Your company got paid.
And you're
It's
paying
doublespeak.
Beyonce, and she didn't even perform.
she didn't even perform.
And they announced that she was going to perform, which was wonderful. Like all the media were like, "Oh, Beyonce!" So everybody thought they were getting a free Beyonce concert, and then the meltdown afterwards was just
Yep. Well, as soon as Kamala came up on stage, everybody started leaving.
Yeah.
They're
yeah,
like,
and upset, and like tweeting, and like just really upset that this woman wasn't going on stage to perform.
Right.
It's like, what, you didn't come to hear her tell you how wonderful
It
Kamala
was a
is?
bait and switch, just like the entirety of the rest of the Kamala campaign. So nobody should have been surprised by that. That should have
Not
been,
all of it was bait and switch. She really told us she does not know how to function that economy, and then she proved it with her campaign. It was wonderful to watch. For
Yeah,
those
$1
that don't
billion.
know, yeah, $1 billion, and she's now in the hole. At least $20 million. I've seen reports for a lot more. So let's just. The numbers will eventually come out, and I will be here for it.
And they're scamming people now by fundraising, saying that they're giving them false hope, saying that there's going to be a recount. That they're going to fund recounts, but it's actually to pay off the campaign debt. So,
Oh wow!
I did want
No
Trump
recount.
to there was an alleged rumor, I don't know if this is true, you might know, that 50 Cent, he was going to pay 50 Cent to do Many Men at MSG for $3 million. Did you hear that rumor?
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, like, 50 Cent didn't want to do it. You got to lure him with something. You got to pay him.
I mean, that would have been sweet.
people
would've
ask
been.
all the time. They're like, okay, well, how much is Elon Musk being paid? How much is
They're
Elon is paying.
Right.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
It is a huge difference. Elon's like, hey, Trump, I'm going to help you. Here's my money. Let me open up my wallet. I'm going to give
Yeah.
out $1 million to
In a
somebody every
public
day.
way. Like
Right.
all these other
Yeah.
billionaires do it secretly underneath
Right.
the table. Like look at George Soros and all of his money that he
Through a
put
bunch
into
of
politics
different,
that no one could connect. No one
shell
could
companies and
actually
stuff.
exactly.
Yeah.
Elon Musk did it very publicly. He did
What
it
about
very
Mark
honestly.
Cuban? You think he paid or he got paid?
No, I think they blackmailed him.
Yeah.
I think they blackmailed
I think they
him.
blackmailed
He-
a lot of people.
Right. He looked like a hostage at every single point that he was doing these talks for Kamala and stuff. And I mean, we were putting his ass through the ringer. I mean, he did not want to be doing that.
He's deleted all of his tweets.
Oh, he deleted all the scrubbed it. So if you, I'm passionate about this. You,
Good.
you search Kamala or
I
Harris.
trolled him a bunch, so yeah. Everyone did.
He responded to me at one point. I was like, yes. And
So
then
you'll
he
never
probably
know.
deleted all of it.
We
was- it
now
was
call
fun
him
to troll
Rachel.
him.
We now call him Rachel Maddow.
Yes.
Maddow.
Mark Maddow, whatever.
Yep, all of this as Elon Musk, another billionaire, just actually, talked about what we were just talking about, and that is the end of the corporate media. As he said, quote, "The reality of this election was plain to see on X, while most legacy media relentlessly lied to the public, you are the media now. Please post your thoughts and observations on X, correct others when they are wrong, and we will at least have one place in the world where we can come back to find the truth. And I think X really did make the biggest difference here. And when you look at the number of people who no longer believe in the old guard, the corporate media, the prostitutes, it is absolutely incredible to see these numbers, these charts, as Elon Musk also tweeted this specific chart highlighting confidence in newspapers since 1973 all the way until 2022. That number is expected to go a lot lower in 2023 and 2024. As he says, trust in the legacy media is rightfully at an all-time low and declining, and rightfully so. As, of course, we're sick of being lied to. We're sick of all these people gaslighting us, emotionally manipulating us, fear-mongering us, and not having an iota of morals or virtues that, of course, are anything left to look up to. These individuals sold you out. They're at the beck and call of the intel agencies, and people have had enough. It's beautiful to see, because I was saying this specific election isn't just going to decide who the future president of the United States is. It's going to decide the future of media, and it's fair to say podcasts and alternative media overwhelmingly destroyed the corporate media, and it's beautiful to see.
Well, because, I mean, you look at Donald Trump, he did this strategy of him going in and doing all of these different podcasts that you had the only ones that Kamala would do. I think, what'd she do? That
Call her
degenerate-
daddy.
The degenerate ass Call Me Daddy podcast.
That she paid $100,000 for
Right.
because she built a
Studio.
temporary studio in a hotel room.
Oh,
$100,000 freaking
Imagine that,
dollars.
like other people will just like set up some chairs, bring in some lights. No, she needed to build a whole studio. Like
For one day.
what?
A few hours,
Because-
an hour.
Everything
Forget
has
the day,
to
an hour.
it has to literally be staged, or else Kamala
It all
can't do
does-
it.
Which is why I don't feel bad for the legacy media. Like newspapers, there's a reason they're going out of style, and that reason beyond the fact that on X you can just get updated last minute information, which a newspaper is the day before. But they did this to themselves because they've been lying to us this whole time. So who wants to read it when you can go to X and you can community notes when something's wrong? I mean, like that media was going to die eventually, and they just killed themselves with the talking crap.
You would have thought they would have learned in 2016. When they saw that they got rebuked in 2016.
They still haven't
and
learned now, even after the loss.
Right. Well, they're
You
going to
know,
be forced to
they're-
learn now because they're all going to be unemployed. So they're going to have
Yeah.
nothing to do rather than sit around and just
Maybe
stew
real
over it.
journalism will
No,
make a
no.
research.
They can
Look
learn
at
to
the-
code. Let them
They
learn to
learn
code.
to code, yeah, learn to
I'm
code.
okay with them doing that. I don't think they're capable of actually being able to critically think without being told what to say. So I don't think they're going to be good at that at
Shots
all.
fired.
So.
I like this, Luke. This Luke's on fire.
But no, they pissed me off. A lot of the world's problems come from disinformation, come from them
media.
lying to us. And truly, if you look at life, all of the major issues that we have ever dealt with predominantly came because the corporate media lied to us about these major issues. They lied to us about the diet. They lied to us about the economy. They lied to us about the wars and the terrorism. And if we had the truth, if we had the ability to talk away our problems and to just communicate freely, the world would be an absolutely incredible place. And I think that's where we're kind of going towards with this new Trump administration that is signaling this larger kind of turning of the page of the corporate media and individuals finally being able to speak one-on-one with each other without any kind of filters or censors. And that's a magical, powerful time that I think we really have to take full advantage of more than ever.
Do you think it's the Trump presidency though that's doing this? Or
Yes.
do you
It
doesn't
started
politics
with the Trump presidency.
I feel like politics follows the culture, and the culture is what's changing. I think that like Gen Zers are like something that we hadn't seen before and are kind of changing. Like, I mean, you're a good example of that. We had Naomi on yesterday. She's also a great example of that. These younger kids are, Spike Cohen once said this, it's like they're the opt-in a generation, and it's because they're used to opting in for things like, do you want to receive spam? No, I don't. And you check the box. As opposed to us, slightly older folks who grew up with like, this is what you're getting. You get what you get, and you don't get upset. And so I think that the culture was already starting to change, and maybe Donald Trump, one or the other. I don't know which one comes first, but definitely, I think things are changing.
Well, from my perspective, I think the Overton window just was absolutely obliterated after 9/11 with documentaries like Loose Change that I think showed people a glimpse of like, hey, this is the type of stuff that you actually get to now listen to. And then quickly they tried to close that window, and they did for a couple of years. But now it's slowly, people are like, wait, I'm still curious. I still want to ask questions about different things. I still want to know about things that I'm not supposed to know about. I still want to know about the best things and decisions that I should be making for me personally in my own life individually. And I think it's like a constant battle. They're trying to push this window down. We keep slowly and surely opening it further and further, and it's beautiful to see.
And now we have the technology to do it. Sorry.
What the media did during COVID, obviously, we talked about this so many times, but but they were force feeding us information, and the people finally, it took a couple of years, finally woke up to it, and now they go to somewhere like X for their news. I don't watch any of these news networks at this point because that's their job, is to force feed you information that they want you to hear on X. You people complain all the time. Like liberals come into my comments and like, "Why are you showing up in my feed?" It's because it will put diverse perspectives in your feed. You have the ability to make your own decisions using information from both sides on somewhere like X, and I think that's people finally see the value in that, especially after the getting banned for talking about vaccines, which pretty much everything that was talked about was true. The Hunter Biden laptop story, and now look what we're at now. I mean, they're still trying to exert that force onto the people, but the people have woken up and they're here. I mean, look, this is another question. You can take this one of two ways. Why were there? Trump pretty much got the same amount of votes in 2024 as he did in 2020, almost exactly the same. I think the difference was only a couple 100,000, but Kamala got 10 million votes less than Joe Biden. How? Why?
Well, the better question is
Well,
not
it's
why she got
closer. The gap is
okay, but let's
shortening.
assume that she gets 8 million, whatever the number ends up being. The better question is, how did Joe Biden get those additional? Because the previous election,
it was all mail-in votes. They put it together in a Time article that was like a 35-minute read. I recently remade an article about that. It was an article called "The Shadow Campaign That Secured the 2020 Election," and it came out in February 2021.
So you don't think there was shenanigans?
Well, the shenanigans was rigging the system, and they talk about it like explicitly. They tell you everything that they did starting 2019. When I forgot the guy's name, a consultant said Trump is going to win the election, and we have to stop it. And so they start their plan of how they're going to reach all of these voters, right, through COVID, mostly through mail-in ballots. That there was this one initiative in the summer of 2020 where they sent out like a mailer or something to 50 million Americans in swing states, asking them if they wanted a ballot, right? And telling them it's safe and effective, or it's safer to vote by mail. It's secure. This is how you do it. Do you want a ballot? 4.6 million Americans said yes.
And we are from Miami. We know exactly what it means when you get a mail-in ballot, and then somebody goes around and collects them.
I've never gotten them. I
got 3 ballots in the mail in California in 2020.
Never.
Wow.
Three ballots.
All named for you?
All for me. Yeah.
Well, maybe we got some super chats that are kind of related to this. Let's read them off really quickly,
and
then
the voter rolls either.
We have a very interesting. We'll talk about this on the next segment where we could talk about it a little bit more freely,
Yeah.
because this segment and this platform doesn't like that type of conversation. Robbie, read out the super chats really quick.
My goats. The Hunter laptop was the stake in the heart for the legacy media.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. That was a major one where everyone's kind of scratching their heads like, wait, how did you allow this story not to get out there to the general public? Oh, you censored it in an absolutely ruthless, evil way. Keep going.
Holly movie star. Luke, where did all the 9/11 truthers go? Used to be massive peaceful protests back in the day around 2004, 2005. Did they turn into the far left?
I don't think they did. I think a lot of them are still around. You look at Mark Dice, Gary Franchi, myself. We're still around. Alex Jones, we're still around. And there's a lot of people that have...
Tucker came out and said it.
Tucker. I mean, he wasn't one of the originals. Tucker Carlson was attacking it and then came around and now is saying, yeah, I actually agree with you guys. As of course, the corporate media really hated when you questioned those particular events. And this is the larger shift. I wanted to play one one more clip before getting out of here.
Oh, no.
Of Don Lemon, disgraced CNN anchor, talking to Elon Musk in, I think, the perfect kind of representation of exactly what we were just discussing.
And you love censorship, is what you're saying.
No, I don't love censorship.
Then why are you asking?
I believe in moderation.
Moderation is a propaganda word for censorship. Look, if something's
censorship.
illegal, we're going to take it down. If it's not illegal, then we're putting our thumb on the scale and we're being censors.
You're putting your thumb on the scale for moderating hate speech. I mean, you don't put out child pornography. That's not.
It's illegal.
Some people would say that's considered censorship. I'm just saying.
I literally said, if something is legal, okay, we will obviously remove it.
Okay.
But if it is not legal, if the laws in this country are put forward by the citizens, we're a democracy. If those laws are put in place by the people, we adhere to those laws.
Okay, I
We adhere to the
agree.
laws of others. If you go beyond the law, you're actually going beyond the will of the people. What you're suggesting is censorship that goes beyond the law. And what I'm saying is that we, I guess, have a disagreement, because I do not believe in censorship that goes beyond the law, and you do. We have a difference of opinion in that regard.
So you don't consider that hate speech?
I guess you're not understanding what I'm saying.
We don't agree on this.
Yes, you want censorship and I don't.
No, I don't want censorship.
Yes, you do.
No, I want responsibility. I think there.
You desperately want censorship.
No, if I want a
You
censorship.
want censorship so bad you can taste it.
No, that's not true. It's not true. So.
And I'm against censorship. I'm in favor of freedom of speech.
Yeah.
And freedom of speech only is relevant when people you don't like say things you don't like. Otherwise, it has no meaning.
Absolutely. As of course, Don Lemon was a little slow there.
That was like watching a
Yeah,
train wreck.
yeah,
That was watching like the best job interview just go south.
Can
Train
I
wreck.
mention that he's wearing the damn glasses again?
Of course he is.
Of course-
That's where the
of course he
shock, the taser is to control them. We're going to move over to the next platform on thebestpoliticalshow.com. Before we move over, we wanted to, of course, tell everyone to follow you guys. So, Nick, where can people find out more information about you?
It's at Nick Sortor, SORTOR, on X, and nowhere else.
Linda,
because-
where can people find out more information about you?
At Wake Up with Linda on Instagram and on X.
All
Mostly
right.
Instagram.
Marta.
You can find me at Bueno for Miami on Instagram and X.
Robbie.
And, you know, Don Lemon does street interviews, and so do I. I think mine are better. If you want to see them, they're on The Robbie Man Twitter and The Robbie Man YouTube.
All right, we are on the front page of Rumble right now. So if you want to find us, just go to rumble.com and go check them out. As of course, they actually allow free speech and allow us to talk freely about whatever we want. As we're going to be talking about the larger person going to Nick's home. We're going to talk about David Icke attacking me. We're going to talk about all this other stuff that we cannot talk on this particular platform. So go over there right now and join the conversation. As of course, we also have to